New year, new me, who are you, boy? If you're in my way, you better move, boy. I don't ever miss a cue like schoolboy. Ain't no telling what I'ma do, boy. Ha, 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 ha. I bet you thought you had me figured out, but nah, 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 nah. I'm way too unpredictable.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren. My co-host below me is...
This is Jason.
And on my right is...
It's Devin. How's it going?
And we are the Tech Disruptors, your weekly source of all the latest and greatest tech news, discoveries, reviews, you name it, we covered here on our channel. And today, it's been a big week in tech. I know last week we were scraping the barrel a little bit, but this week all of a sudden someone put their foot to the floor and shit's coming out left, right, and center. There's all kinds of new and exciting things happening. And we've even got a special guest on today's show. We're going to be talking to Paul Val from 4D Fun, and we're going to get to him in just a few moments. Now, just to kick things off, I know we talk a lot about robotics on this show, and it's been a while since I've shared with you what I like to call nightmare fuel. So I wanted to show you this particular clip. So this is a robot hand. Now, before you get excited, this hand isn't just any old hand, but this is where robotics potentially might be going. Now, this one, when I saw this this morning, I thought, this can't be good. We're yet again looking at another robotics situation where we're going, okay, let's see what happens. So, here is the clip. Make sure you guys can see it. So, okay, the basic setup here is... a multi-fingered robot hand, and it's going to demonstrate picking up a Pringles can and some mustard.
But before you play it, it looks like it's going to crush everything.
Well, okay, keep in mind this is a prototype, but we'll come back to this in a second. Now, I won't tell you what's going to happen, but I just want to show you this clip, but it's pretty chaotic. Just watch.
We also test the grasping capability.
Okay, I'm just going to mute it so you can see what's going on here. Now, for those of you who are listening to our podcast, the robot hand is simply grabbing both a Pringles can and some mustard. But when there's a small block, it detaches its hand. The hand moves on its own to go and pick up the small block that's on the table.
That's cool.
And it will grasp the object.
What?
So that we have control. It will crawl backwards.
Okay, this is nightmare fuel.
This is nightmare fuel.
Could you imagine in the middle of the night seeing something like this?
Now, watch this. I'm not making this up.
It's going to
reattach. The
reattach.
arm will reattach itself to the robot hand while it's still grasping the little wooden block. And I'm not even joking when I say this. This is absolute chaos. Nightmare fuel. So I'll start with you, Devin. Your reaction was classic there, actually. I was waiting for that. What was going through your head when you saw that there, Devin?
I mean, I think it's super normal, right? Like that this is the way that you design it. Why would you design something like our actual hand? Why not just make the fingers fold both ways? It makes complete sense to me. I think it's just weird looking at it, right? That the first time, but like... makes sense. I like it. I think that was super cool.
The detachable hand has many applications. Robotics, for sure, is one of them. Jason, how do you feel about seeing that crazy nightmare fuel?
It's funny you say that. I have a procedure set up next week to have this installed in my arm as my arm. So, you know, when you have that one thing that's just hard to reach, you could just say, hold on a second. You hit a button, pops off, grabs it, and brings it back. It also is other reasons you can use that too, you know, but that's a different...
Is it... What's that Marvel character, the robotic chick, Gamora's sister? I'm drawing a blank.
Chick.
Remember? And I picture her like twisting her hand back on, and then that's what I thought of when I saw that. I don't even know. It'll come to me. I'm sure.
It was in Jumanji and other movies.
Yes,
too.
yes. I'm sure our guests might know. Maybe.
But anyway, the comments will tell us.
Yeah, leave us in the comments if you know the name. We're drawing a blank right now. But what I'm getting at is, it's been a while since we've had a good robotics video on there where we look at it and go, "Yep, we're all destined to die." Now, before we jump to our guest, I wanted to rewind because I think the last time Devin was on here, Devin, were you on here when we were talking about the Waymo horns, cars beeping in the middle of the night?
Yes, he was.
Yep, I was here.
So they're in trouble again. Potentially might even ruin the U.S. election that's coming up.
Hold on, Waymo is going to ruin the election?
Yes, I can't even.
Hold on, who's behind this? Never mind. I'm not.
Okay, no, I'll share it with. So basically, Waymo self-driving cars, mostly in the United States. The last
Can I ask you where you got this article from?
Hang on. Stick with it. So the last time we had him, we talked about him. They got in trouble because the cars were meeting at a central point and communicating with each other in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m.
They're lonely, man. Come on.
They were hanging out. That's exactly right. Now, they've gotten in trouble again today. In fact, this morning or last night, I think it was. So Kamala Harris, potential president of the United States, maybe, is her whole procession is driving in San Francisco, and a Waymo self-driving car manages to automatically stop in the middle of the road and hold up the entire procession. So much so that a police officer had to get into the car and manually drive it away. And I've got the clip right here.
What if I got a funny thing? I'm going to have to mute Darren here in a second.
No. Hang on. So here it is. Here is the clip. I'll play it for you.
No, hold on. This is what's the procession?
So this is Kamala Harris and her entire posse of like security agents, secretaries, all of that. So in the clip you see just in this frame here, you can see the white car is the Waymo self-driving car, and her whole procession is just lined up right there in the black, you can see. And so anyway, they've been in a little bit of trouble today. So they're trying to drive around her. It's holding up literally 3 lanes of traffic. And what appears to be a rail, I'm assuming like
is it safe to say that we know which way Waymo is voting?
Yes, it was seriously. So anyway, so you see the police officer here, basically talking to, I'm assuming the Waymo people.
It didn't. It got stuck.
But its hazard lights are on, so something must have happened. I don't know what. I mean, at least its hazard lights are on.
It's probably just a coincidence, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You think a coincidence?
Waymo is what?
A coincidence.
One specific
They're one of the
person.
few companies doing this taxi, the driverless taxi, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's no one in there. There's no passengers.
No, I'm saying they're one of the few companies that does this so far.
Yes. Correct.
I know Tesla's working on the Tesla taxi. I think next month they're going to talk about that. But interesting.
So here's a police officer quite literally figuring out what the fuck to do. And then he gets in the car and then just kind of manually moves it. Which I'm assuming Waymo had to give him authorization to do so. I'm not 100% sure.
I can't imagine anybody can just jump in that seat and say, oh, hit 2 buttons and drive.
Yeah. And you'll see him drive off in just a second.
Wow.
Now, I know it's crazy, but this is the second time now that we've featured these.
We live in the U.S., and I think Darren is,
I'm jealous.
He's trying to push this, this
trying to get it to come to
agenda
Canada.
That there's someone out there someone's trying to cheat the election already, and it hasn't even happened yet.
Listen,
come on, let's pump
in
the brakes.
Canada, I'm going to be honest with you.
The last election.
We probably couldn't give 2 shits about the election in the United States, but it does directly impact us. It's because it's fun to watch, and we are your nearest trading partner, so
it's fun for me to watch.
I know.
But you can't tell me you didn't miss the Cats and Dogs music videos.
I saw it. Yes, I saw it.
There was one where someone actually put him in like Trump dancing, like he does when he's on stage. It was hilarious.
Listen, the amount of things I've seen over the last couple of weeks alone is enough for concern. But we won't talk politics. We'll just say that.
I don't want to get. I was just joking. It's funny.
Waymo again out there making life interesting for everybody else, but just a crazy video. I love that it happens to be for the political procession.
Well, I think Waymo just came out, so now they have active 100,000. They've done 100,000 taxi rides now or something just recently. Because they're saying this because, like I said, Tesla's October 10th, I think, is their next big event. They rented out like Warner Brothers Studios. And they're
because they have a new car coming out, right? If I remember right.
Well, they're supposed to show off the cheap 20,000 below, and also the Tesla taxi, which is supposed to compete with Waymo, which should be interesting.
Nice. I hope it's like the Tesla robot, which was just a guy in a suit.
They should make the taxi with one of those things sitting in the driver's seat.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the hand that detaches.
Oh,
can you imagine? It's just one hand on the steering wheel like this. That would be amazing. All right. Anyway.
They could play a prank. Oh God, I lost control. The arm would fall off.
Yeah, it falls off and it's driving itself. The arm just goes back down. I know. But anyway, let's actually talk to our guests. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Paul Val. I hope I'm saying his name right, but I'm going to bring him in. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Sorry for the delay there. We're just talking about all the chaos of robotics and self-driving cars. Any thoughts on it before we...
That Adam's family hand was fascinating.
Oh, right? Right? I like that description. That's,
terrified.
No longer have to use CGI.
They're actually using a robot stuntman now out here in Hollywood for, I think it's actually the Warner lot for Spider-Man. For doing all the stunts at the amusement park, backflips and jumping off buildings and shit. They got a robot doing it. Yeah, it's
that's
fantastic.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, it's absolutely going to change the way not so much films made, but how we, I think, experience things in real life in accordance to those digital things. You know, like Chuck E. Cheese on steroids.
Now, Paul, let me ask you this, and I know, sorry, we'll get to all about you in just a second, but we talk a lot about the fear of robotics on this show because we've seen some crazy shit.
I was just watching Terminator 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
There you go, right? So now let me ask you this. Are you somebody that generally fears it, or do you think it might actually help our society? That's the big kind of point we're making here.
At first, it's going to help, but like most things, right? Then the detriment will come. I think the only solution is truly Elon's solution, which is just integrating with the robots, right? Direct brain interface, because we will absolutely get left behind fast. I mean, our work first will be the workforce, right? With AI. Just as it is now, and then you put the physical factor behind it, guys. I mean,
I know. Skynet is real.
It is right? Very real. Yeah. And you know, we're coming closer and closer to independent thought and action behind these machine learning systems, and then the physical motion. With the addition of robotics is going to lead to some very spectacular innovations. But, you know, what are we going to do when we all get so fucking lazy? No one's even folding their laundry.
Oh, exactly. Thank you. That's the problem, right?
We'll get. I know you're here for.
It is a problem.
No, but it's funny you talk about being lazy. So me and Darren just recently got EVs. He's got the Subaru Solterra, and I got the EV or the Tesla Model 3, the new one. And it's making me lazy. It drives for me. It drives to me. Like, it turns its headlights
Why am I walking to the car?
I know.
You should walk to me.
I can walk to it faster than it drove to me, but I can still do it. Like, it does everything. Like, that's my wife the other day. I said, if it cooks and cleans, I'm good.
But if you're in like Las Vegas or in Dubai or some shit like that, where it's a million degrees, it is very convenient to have it just turn on the air conditioning, drive right up to you, so you don't have to walk with your bags or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, but is that an advancement that humans need right now?
We get the picture of WALL-E. We're all going to be on ships.
Yes, right?
That's
Yeah.
it, man. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, let's introduce Paul, because Paul, you're a really interesting guest. I'm glad that you came on the show today. So let me read the spiel that I have about you here. So Paul,
God.
oh well, maybe if you don't want me to, I
Who
don't have
sent
to.
that
But,
to you, first of all?
well, I just
AI,
got AI to generate it. So
Yeah,
I don't know if this is
there you
real,
go.
but so Paul and his team, based out of Los Angeles, are the creators of 4D Fun. I believe are the XR entertainment industry. So you've captured and archived 2,000 plus volumetric capture artist performances.
Yeah.
Apparently, it says here you have a wealth of knowledge. We're going to test that in just a second.
Ooh.
But you
Very
know anything
limited
about
field, but yeah.
4D body scanning, metaverse, spatial computing, AI, you name it, he does it. And so Paul,
And I'm a drummer.
and he's a drummer. There you
Ooh.
go.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. Multi-talented. I love
You know?
it. So, Paul, let's start with I'll get you kind of to introduce what it is that you do, and then we'll probably just fire off some questions at you if that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I started my life off as a musician, and not just an aspiring one. I accomplished it to a degree of personal satisfaction, but then it bailed immediately because there was no exit strategy. Right?
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I found myself stuck on tour for the rest of my life. So I got out and got into the entertainment industry, into television and film. Found out no one wanted to buy what I thought was funny, or they wouldn't air it. So I ended up getting a cable network station out in Las Vegas and selling my own ads myself. And it was pretty cool. It worked out fun. But then I started getting censored and all that shit. And this was a while ago. And then a friend of mine introduced me to this thing called coding. And he told me how it can help me in my distribution problem, because there was this new thing coming out called Roku. And it was Roku Edition 1. And so he helped me write what was at the time called a cross-platform API media distribution system, which is now simplified as streaming. And so we made a streaming platform, and then I pulled a publicity stunt to get that popular and helped propel the flat earth into the funny spectrum of reality by launching a guy in a rocket. And that got way too popular. That was a joke gone way south or north, depending on, your perspective of the earth. And then I got really fascinated. I met these weirdos in this fetish club sitting in a corner that were doing this really weird thing, and they were controlling the screens in real time. And I was trying to learn how to do cheap animation. And they were doing real-time motion capture with the girl on stage, and it was controlling the stick figure on the screen. So I was like, holy shit, how are you doing this? And who's doing this? And I know this dancer is not good enough to mimic what's on the screen, so this is happening in real time. This could really help me make cartoons really fast. So I found the nerd sitting in the dark corner with the computer. I'm like, bingo. Yes. So I went and talked to him, and he was telling me about this other thing that needed code that can help me with some of my problems, but this was a different thing. He showed me something that blew my fucking mind, and I've never, to this day, it just changed me forever. And he showed it to me on his phone, and it was a digital object that was sitting on his counter that wasn't there in real life. And it was, at the time, it would be called SLAM technology, which we know now is augmented reality. So I got a really, really advanced insight as to something spectacular that's coming as far as visualization of data. And other stuff, and that really, as someone who thought I was like building the future of this, cross-platform API, other words, shit, that I quickly realized that, holy shit, television's going to die. We're going to enter a new dimension of content. So I better figure this out. So I called my friend in Detroit, Matt, and I'm like, hey, Matt, how the fuck is he doing this, dude? He put a pig on my fucking counter. And I sent him the video, and he's like, dude, if you want to get into some shit like that, we're going to have to really take a different approach. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you're going to have to learn Unity. I was like, can you do that on a Mac? He goes, you can only do it on a Mac.
On a Mac, yeah.
I was like, well, fucking great. What the fuck's Unity? And I was a music producer and film editor, so I understood programs real well. So immediately I just got really fucking immersed in this, lost 2 years of my life, gave up my streaming play, gave up my music career, lost it, fucking everything, and just bashed my face on the wall and learned how to do this thing. Then I started working with Magic Leap, and Magic Leap was the first introduction of what's actually, possible. And I built this really rad go-kart ride where we had the device talk to the because most devices run off an accelerometer that define its position or rotation and stuff like that. So when you have that on a moving platform, you have a big problem with definitions. You can't shoot fireballs out of your hands and shit. So we made the Magic Leap talk to the go-kart. So then when you collide with things, it can make it go faster, like a mushroom, shit like that.
Yeah.
So I got featured on the BBC for it. It was wild. And then I realized I was building a war toy, quickly got out of that. And then got into volumetric filming because I didn't want everything to be a cartoon. And I wanted to bring music into a monetized ecosystem that was new. So I learned about blockchain. Found ways to further secure the intellectual property and build a distribution system for this new form of entertainment, which is fourth dimensional.
Yeah.
And I hope that was quick enough.
Yeah, no, and Paul, we love this story because this is stuff that we hear all the time, is that people who maybe traditionally not really tech people, they see something, they experience something, and then they're changed forever. And, we've talked about this in the past where, there's just like those defining moments, as we all love tech here and we're all really invested in tech, but you see something or experience something and you can't unsee it, right? You become obsessed with it. And it's funny that you say that because I remember, I think it might have been one of my very first Samsung smartphones where they had that feature where you could project a non 3D object onto a countertop or like have it pop over your shoulder or something like that. Yeah. And I remember seeing that and going, fuck, like how? Yeah. Like how is this happening? So I actually have a couple of a video here. I know you just shared one with me here too, and I'll see if I can.
Yeah, that's that go-kart I was telling you about. I was featured on the BBC for.
You mentioned that.
That was really wild. And then we got the iPhone to be able to show the end user, who's not playing. Then they were able to watch. The Magic Leap was obviously very flawed in being translucent and all that other shit.
Oh, that's definitely a Magic Leap on their heads.
But to get it to, to be able to drive, and then have stability, right, at 60 miles an hour, and then blast fireballs out of my hand and then have the trajectory match into the real world and the game world and all this other shit. It was really, really awesome. And then to have Nintendo steal it from me and turn it into a toy, the little Mario Kart, that was really awesome. I didn't get credit, of course, but I knew, and I bragged to my kids. That was my idea. And
that's okay. I mean, listen, you created it, man. Like that's part of it, right?
Definitely.
Congratulations.
BBC marked that I did it first. So
there you go.
Look at the timeline, right? It was really. Go ahead.
I was just going to say now, Paul. Like, so you mentioned that you were bringing this kind of technology to the world of music. I think is what you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I understood that like plenty of people were going to make plenty of cool games and shit. And that's not really what I do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try and get too far into something that I don't know, right? Whereas I had to develop a whole bunch of new skills to manufacture content in a new way. I'm not looking to make video games, but what I am looking to do is revolutionize how we perceive entertainment. And when wearable optics become more prevalent, as Meta just introduced, right, as you guys were mentioning, we're going to be able to transform and transcend past this two-dimensional screen, right? I use my Apple Vision Pro as much as my head will let me before I get a headache. I use my Meta Quest all the time, and I used to use Magic Leap all the time before, and so on and so on. But so I understand the idea of spatial computing, the absence of screens. TVs are going to be gone. These computers are going to be gone, but then what does that mean? Is everything going to be a fucking cartoon because everything's motion captured? And, and I'm like, that's lame. My friends aren't going to want to do that. Yeah. And I know a lot of musicians, a lot of really cool ones who, want to get into the game industry because Travis Scott, I mean, look at the profound effect it had on his career and on Epic Games as well. they made like $2 billion they will account for in like a fucking week. I mean, just massive. So, but, Ozzy, they did Ozfest in Decentraland, and it was so fucking lame. I mean, beyond lame. And it's because it's all just so stupid. So I understood immediately when I saw that pig on the counter. I'm like, but can it be real? And at first it was no. So I started playing with single sensor intake to, get like this much of a fucking person. And then after a while, we got multi-sensor intakes and things like that. And we were able to get not just hyper realistic renderings of people, but I mean, real to life people. And they stand right here, right? So the need for that is so profound to me, simply because all content, as we know, is going to have a shelf life, and it's going to be known to our kids as 2Ds, right? We don't watch 2Ds. It's fucking lame. So, what happens to musicians, what happens to artists, what happens to creators, what happens to public speakers, what happens to all this information that we've put on the internet. I'm part of the, MySpace generation, where our first social media was MySpace. And I put all kinds of cool crap on there because I was a touring drummer. I was doing all kinds of cool shit, and it's gone. Yeah. Right? It just doesn't fucking exist now. Thank God. But at the same time, I like to brag about some of that shit, in a more fashionable way. But it taught me a very valuable lesson. All these things, when I gave up my Spotify account and I lost all of my music, right? When I 4 years or 6 years ago decided, fucking iPhone, I'm going to get an Android and be lame for a couple months. I threw my iPhone at the wall, and then I didn't own any of my music. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, well, fuck me. I don't have Apple Music. I don't have Spotify. Okay, fuck. So, and then I look at what happened to the film and television industry here in Hollywood, where now 50% of productions are shut down, and Paramount's literally the whole studio shut down. The film industry is dead. 75% of content consumed is user-generated content. The video game industry makes more than television, film, and music combined annually. But you can't, as an artist, get yourself in there and monetize within that ecosystem. Roblox itself makes more than the entirety of the music business. Well, right? And it's because the monetized system. Yeah.
Roblox has had some music. Eminem, I think. And and it's cheesy, but it works.
But the problem with that is no one's really benefiting but Roblox.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's a big problem, and that's a lack of interoperable data exchange. That's a lack of proper ability for an artist to take a stance in the discussion when they walk to the table. Like, you go to Roblox and be like, or they approach you and go, we want you to perform. Well, they're going to do 100% of the fucking work.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to put up all the money to do it. So they own it. They're going to pay you a bag up front. Like, this is why Travis Scott sued over his performance in Fortnite, where, that he should be suing his managers, not Epic Games.
Yeah.
But the fact is, he had no legs to stand on because he couldn't bring a thumb drive with himself going, here's my performance. Yeah. I want this.
So
right? Plus, I want royalties, residuals. I want my fair share.
So, Paul, is the end game to create these artists in 4D and then license them to these games and companies that want to use their image? Is that the kind of play?
As a company, our main goal is to build an interoperable data exchange system, which we've already built. So all of the assets loaded in, can actually be defined with ownership. But then the question is, okay, say I take this, volumetric data and I own it. Well, how do I play it somewhere else?
Yeah.
So we had to build a standardized player, if you will, that is an SDK going out on Unity, where all, developers and so on can just plug it into their system, and they have access to the all the data we've created, and much more musicians to come. So we wanted to introduce it by putting out multiple applications instead of focusing on a single one. So we right now we got 4 applications out on market, but all serving the same content, just in different ways and different forms. We have a chat application where people can, chat together. We have this one is Scenes XR, where it's just the music player, which this is what you could bring into your own game, your own production, your own mobile application, your own whatever. Then the end user has their music with them. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So when they own it, they own it. And then created wallet connectivity to facilitate this, meaning we had to simplify the process because 12-year-olds don't have a MetaMask, right? So we had to make an easy solution for a one-click wallet creation, so where the user doesn't even know they're creating a wallet. But then there becomes the objective of facilitating a smart contract execution. Well, that takes crypto. 12-year-olds don't have crypto. So we had to build a method where you can create a wallet using like your Apple ID, your Apple login. So then now you can use Apple Pay to facilitate the transaction, and then it just sends off and does that in the back, and then now you can facilitate the execution of the smart contract and then own it, and then your wallet is actually attached to your Apple ID.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pass it over because I know that these guys have probably got a couple of questions. So I'll start with you, Devin. Devin, any questions? Because I know you're a big computing guy, so I know this might be right down your alley there. Any questions or thoughts?
I mean, honestly, this is so cool. I'm a huge music fan too, so I love that you're focusing on that and bringing in other types of media, because I think this is truly a format that's going to just take over the whole world, not just gaming. And there's a lot of opportunity outside of that. So I guess one of the biggest things that I'm wondering is, what do you see the actual market for consumers to be taking this? Is it going to be something like the Apple Vision Pro? Is it going to be a headset? Is there going to be some sort of other new things, new technology that hasn't even been invented yet? Because I have the headsets too. I don't have a Vision Pro, but to me, I don't see that becoming the reality for most consumers until a lot of the baby boomers are gone. Like, I just don't see my dad ever putting on a headset.
Yeah.
You'd actually be surprised. The older generation was the first adopters of VR devices, but right now we have over 30% teenage adoption. Okay, with the release of the Quest 3S, bringing it to $300 over Christmas, we're going to be over 50% teenage user adoption, right? Then it's just a stone's throw away from critical mass. Now, what we need to look at when we think about the adoption of these wearable optics, such as Vision Pro, Meta, HTC has some no one cares about, and so on, right? Is the adoption rate. And then let's compare it to the adoption rate of the internet. Then let's compare it to the adoption rate of, let's say, the iPhone, right? How long it took from the release to hit critical mass. Right now, the adoption rate of wearable optics is 3 times faster than the adoption rate of the internet and the iPhone. So think of how fast that took over our lives, right? There was a moment where we had both hands, where it wasn't always bound to this godforsaken thing, but we're about to get that hand freed up with these devices that are getting released. You got to understand, I don't know how old you guys are, but my birthday is actually tomorrow, and I'm going to be 42.
Happy birthday!
Okay, so I was thanks, and I was raised. I got my internet on a disc in the mail, right, for the first time, right. And luckily, my mom, she was very heavy into computers. She worked for a weather manufacturing company, so she got me into. I made my first website on GeoCities. If any of you know what that is, I know how
this guy right
too.
Here.
Yeah. Right, all right. Heartland Ranch, right? I remember that shit. So it's like, it was very interesting watching the internet evolve, and then, watching social media evolve out of it, and so on and so on. And then watching how much it consumes our lives now and how prevalent it has become. So it's absolutely absurd to say that that future isn't defined, right? Because it is defined, and it's defined by these. But then let's take your question further. What really fucks me up about Zuckerberg's announcement yesterday, okay, or however many days ago. Sorry, I live my life in a blur sometimes. So I've been a futurist, so to speak, not by my own proclamation, but thanks, but just by, the insight that I had a long time ago, by that pig on my counter. I've been able to tell people about something that's coming, and no one really understood. Most people thought I was fucking mental, especially when I told them, I saw this shit, I was on mushrooms, and I'm going to fucking get this vision. And it's all going to happen, though, I swear. I was talking to these aliens. And so, but now, you know, I get a lot of public speaking events. I do a lot of things, and I teach a lot of people about this future that's coming. But now Zuckerberg goes, "Hey guys, look, I don't really have much to say now." I'm like, "Well, I mean, the future's fucking here, guys. I fucking told you so." But so now my big question, as someone who likes to dream of, our company, our motto is always trying to define the future of content delivery systems. Well, that's no longer the future of content delivery systems. It's the now. So to touch on that topic real, you know, quick now after that long introduction to it, Elon with brain interfacing is a very fascinating thing to me. I worked with a company called Mudra, which was doing these wristbands, which was allowing EEG readings to allow communication to the device, which actually Meta, you know, is making now part of the foundation of the Orion, which was really cool. So we started with the go-kart. I wanted to get more defined position rotation, movement of the hand, all those others without having to take such extreme readings from the, anyways. So I knew then that, you know, exterior readings are possible, but Elon went into the brain and he's taking readings directly from it, right? Okay, so, I mean, the next step is signal back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fucking logical. So then, okay, let's take that walk now. Now, how does that affect content, right? How do you put a vision into someone? How do you create that vision to put into someone? What data do you need? You know, it's going to be AI. You know, so what training data do we need on humans? On what? And is it an expression that we need to make in real life, or can we literally type it out and it just goes into the, like, it's fascinating to me to think about that because we've seen some creepy movies about that too. And, they all seem to be starring Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger, and he was probably in California. So now I'm like going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like 4 a.m. It's gonna be a weird future, you know.
I'll throw it over to Jason. Jason, I know you're probably you're a big music fan too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. When you came on, I wasn't. I mean, I looked at some of the stuff Darren had sent me, and it looks like more specifically the XR. So you have artists who are coming to you, I suppose, and are recording whatever they're doing. So when it comes to the content that I have a Quest 3, so let's say I downloaded the app, used it. Is it like Apple Music or YouTube Music, or you buy that song and then you can have it and they can perform it live for you, you know,
right there in your living room, on demand, whenever you want.
So that's what it is.
That's what it is.
I like
that's so good, right? I know.
I know.
I hear that and go, wow.
Right now, everything's free, and it will be for a while.
Okay.
Now, why are you making it free? Is that just to catch on and
get the next couple years?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Because people don't understand what it is to have a person there, right? They're you know, there was a thing said about when boats first came, you know, to the Americas. People couldn't see the boats because they've never seen a boat until someone said, "Hey, that's a boat."
Oh, yeah.
And they're not just floating there, you know. So until someone sees and understands what a volumetric or 4D performance is, you know, they think it's just, you know, they don't know what to think. But when you see a fucking person in your goddamn living room doing what, you know, we have comedians we've captured, we have martial artists, we have boxers teaching you how to box. I mean, all kinds of shit. So there's a lot of use case for it. We also have a VR app where it's fully immersive, where you're in a concert with all your friends and they all join you, and, you know, all that other stuff. So a metaverse, for lack of a better phrase. But we really want to make sure that I want everyone, as we come out with this, to understand that this content doesn't have a shelf life of how popular and cool will we get. I want the musicians to feel comfortable when creating something that it will, unlike, you know, when you put music on Spotify or Apple Music, you know, it dies when they die.
Yeah.
You know, and so does everything you've collected. Right. And that's the problem with digital assets. Why interoperable data exchange is really fascinating to me. We have over $6 trillion sold annually in digital goods. that outweighs the sales of physical goods on planet Earth, but no one
Yeah.
fucking owns any of
Yeah.
them.
You're right. You're right.
What the
You're right.
fuck?
We pay
Yeah.
monthly for streaming, and we don't own
Yes.
any of it.
Yes.
You know, technically.
Yeah.
So I came up. I'm 25 years old.
Yes, of course.
So
Yeah.
I've got CDs and DVDs, and I don't want to get
Good
rid of
on
them
you.
because it's for me.
Good
it's
on
like
you.
I have certain groups I like, and I'm going to keep their CDs. But you know, I own that. I can play it whenever I want. You know,
play it
streaming
whenever
service.
you
If
want.
I decide to stop paying, I'm going to listen to ads, or it's just over for me. You know. And
Yeah.
I don't,
Or you
I
lose
think-
your phone and your login.
Yeah, that's it. That's
At
Yeah.
it.
least
It's done.
3 days.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen,
Well,
I
I'm
know
only
on my
25, so I shouldn't forget my password.
well, I know on my Spotify account, I have my own playlist. I think I have like a generous 450 songs.
There you go. That's a smart approach.
Yeah.
You can access from any point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good approach.
Yeah, but I'd be fucked if that disappeared because I don't remember. Like I just add them as I hear them, right? Like I have my
Yeah.
favorite artist, but I hear a song.
All
I'm
the
like, that's
music
cool.
you'd lose forever and you'd forget about until one
Yeah.
day you hear in some mall. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's that song I've been thinking about. So it's like, you know, there's this detriment to the knowledge we're about to lose in this evolution of content delivery systems.
Yeah.
All the data we've put as humans into YouTube, into Spotify, into everything that is our creation, you know, our information that we have to the human existence, even if it's dumb. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's
even
there.
if it's the
Yeah.
stupidest shit, that's your contribution. Congratulations. It's whatever form. It's all going to be fucking gone.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. We actually back up this podcast on a floppy disk. So,
Yes! Yes!
I'm just making
Yes!
sure it's there forever.
Well,
my God, yes,
5 and a
right?
quarter, not 3 and a half.
My
5 and a
partner
quarter.
Brian worked for South Park. He's
Yeah.
my partner that's helped me start this company. He worked for South Park and Disney and a bunch of others. He was an animator, workflow solutions, make shit, you know, stuff. And I asked him, I said, okay, man, so, you know, we capture in terabytes, you know, a second.
Yeah.
So we got like petabyte motherfucking drives, just, you know,
Nice.
Holy
taking up all
cow.
kinds of energy and making all kinds of noise and shit. And I asked him, I was like, okay, so, you know, we got backup and then we got backup, then we got these element drives, which is massive. I'm like, okay, so what if, hear me out, what if this all goes, you know,
All goes to shit. Yeah.
then what?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, do we got to, this is a lot
Google
of data.
Drive.
We like, yeah, we got like, yeah, right? Yeah, fuck me.
Yes.
There's no plan for that.
So he told me, he's like, oh no, we're going to use tape. I was like,
Yeah.
you old, and he's older than me, so you know, I thought it was some like old dad joke. I'm like, fucking tape, you dork. I'm like, listen, man, this isn't 1950s Disney, bro. Get with the shit. We are a future tech company, man. Future, bro. Did you see that wall? And like these signs, just like so. I'm like, so and but no. After explaining to me, you know, tape is the only way. And working in a lot of recording studios, we had vaults up in the attics, and they were filled with old tapes from old musicians. And I was like, the fuck is this? Those are like legitimate masters. They're the only ones you can ever truly bring back.
Wow.
Even a hard drive, you know, you put a hard drive and you cannot plug it in, just put it in a safety deposit box, hope the bank doesn't close down, go back and get it, and it could actually not fucking work.
But yeah, well, that's it, right? Well, listen, Paul, we all love what you're doing. Now, I have 2 questions just really quickly. So, number 1,
Right.
most famous music artists you know off the top of your head, go.
That I know personally,
Yes, that you've met, that you have an ongoing friendship with.
Outkast. I worked with them for a long time.
Ooh,
Nice.
yeah, okay, nice, impressive. And my second question is,
Wait,
all
hold
this
on,
is great,
hold
Paul.
on. I'm only
Oh.
25. I don't know who Outkast is.
Oh, you don't know who Outkast is? Sorry, Jason. I'll explain
Ain't
to you
nobody
later on.
dope as me, bro.
And Paul, my second question is, so there's going to be, our listeners are going to probably chomp at the bit about this because this is exactly what they're into. How do they find out more information? How do they download the app? How do they get it?
I would get on Vision Pro or MetaQuest, because you probably got one of those. No one has Vision Pro. And just download Scenes, spelled with a Z. Scenes.
Yep, right there on the
with a
screen.
Z.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll post it in the chat there too.
And there's
Yeah.
Scenes XR, the regular Scenes platform, and Chat XR. But Scenes is what we're really focusing on as far as like putting specially curated projects together with the artists who are bringing visuals into the situation, and each project is curated specifically with the musicians to create their environments and their shows and a place for their audience to start congregating together and breaking boundaries of regional distances.
Well, listen, Paul, I want to say a big thank you for jumping on our show today. This is you've been amazing, buddy. I mean, we're gonna have to get you to come back another time because I feel like we're just.
I can juggle too, so I could do a 5-minute bit on that. I've been.
That's amazing. Get you to play some drums. Play the drums.
I'm retired from that. You're gonna have to pay me for that one, man. I got a contract.
Well, Paul, listen, we're always looking for a new theme song for the podcast, right? We're always looking for something.
Okay, all right.
I'll tell you what. I'll be in touch. Don't worry, I'll be in touch. But thank you very much to Paul Val from Scenes, and we'll post up all the details in the chat here, and we will have to get you back on for sure sometime soon. So thank you very much, and we will catch you again soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Paul. Cheers, bud. Yeah. Amazing guest. One of our best guests that we've ever had on the Tech Disruptors podcast.
I would have to say that was amazing because
mind blowing, right?
About it is, he explains he's a musician first. Like that's what he started as.
Yeah,
but he's not. Well, he's a tech guy now, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
he like went out and
he did it.
He learned it. Like he did it hands on, and that's. And I think that's what people nowadays kind of don't do anymore. I'm not trying to be old. I'm only 25, but you know.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I think it's interesting because like I was looking at some of the videos before we came on the show. I already downloaded it, so obviously I have a Meta Quest and I have the Meta app. So I just installed it. So once I turn my device on, I want to see what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm curious too.
Listen to whoever play music, and you can walk around them and I think that's amazing. So what I got from it was, yes, we can go on YouTube Music or Spotify or Apple Music, and we can pay a monthly fee, and we can listen to music, or we can go on here, maybe pay $2 for, I don't know what it's going to cost, a per song basis, or maybe just subscription, and you can actually have a more
like an immersive experience. It's crazy to me that you're seeing the artist right there in 4D in your living room. Like, that's fucking crazy to me, but I love that idea.
But you hear him talk. Like the dude knows so much. Like he is so excited and passionate, and those are the kind of people that are going to make it happen. And
that's
if you're a musician and you're not a tech person, but you can latch on and see what is going to be good.
Yes.
You know you're going to have a good.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm going to try to get Paul back on because I feel like we were just scratching the surface of like what he knows and what he's capable of doing, right? Like,
he was funny.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
And
great
sarcastic.
guest.
I mean, we're not sarcastic at all. We're all serious here.
No, 100%.
I mean, my shirt just says University of Sarcasm. I mean,
that's pretty good. Mine's just a basic blue t-shirt. I'm sorry. Fucking
it's a
basic
fashion
like
show,
that.
Devin. He's wearing the wrong colors, but that's okay.
I know. Sorry. Now, speaking of everything AI and headset wise, so last week we were talking about the Snapchat spectacles.
I did not buy them.
No, okay, and Jason didn't buy them.
After I saw what Meta did, I'm never touching those things ever.
So that's what I wanted to bring up. Now, we made fun of Snapchat for a good 10 minutes last week. Now, I saw what Meta released this week, and what the actual fuck.
Now,
so here is...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to show these pictures. And
I am.
To me, and maybe you, Darren, these have come a long way. This is like Google Glass on steroids. But my wife said, those look stupid.
They do.
You know what? Yeah. They do. But they're the best thing we've had so far, and they're not out yet. They're not selling them yet. By the time they sell them in a year or two, I can guarantee they're going to look totally different.
No, but that's not my point. Because remember, you don't buy things on the promise of what's to come. You buy them as they are now.
Well, so they're not selling them yet.
Well, not yet. But when they do, if this is what they look like, I don't think anybody should fucking buy it. So
I'd
these
buy those over the Snap. I'd buy these over the Snapchat in a heartbeat.
Oh, I don't know. Like, honestly, it would be a hard fucking decision because they are very, very, very similar looking.
Let me give you an example. Google Glass, when it came out, there was a big freaking thing that stood like right over your eye. I don't know if Devin, I'm sure you're familiar with what they are. I was beta tested for them. People looked at me funny. I didn't care. I did not care one bit. Yeah. Because I was with my kids, throwing them in the air and winking my eye, and I could take pictures. To me, that was the most amazing thing.
You want to know what this looks like? I know this is a great photo because this captures everything I need to know.
Uh-oh.
This looks like, do you remember in the movie The Incredibles? Do you remember the character? Hang on, let me pull up a photo.
Here we go. I know exactly who you're going to bring up. Oh,
yeah. Hang on, I got to fucking pull this together. Edna Mode.
Yes.
So I'm going to pull up Edna Mode here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I honestly think that this is what was the inspiration for these glasses. Like, tell me. Okay, rounded, not square, but tell me you didn't get Edna Mode fucking feelings when you saw this release.
I'll be honest. I think these are a lot more advanced than anything I've seen so far, and I'm actually impressed with these. I don't think they're bad at all. But that's my impression.
I have the Lenovo smart glasses, their version, the Legion smart glasses, whatever they're called.
But those are just for video consumption. This is like AR.
I understand that. Right. But if they can already do video consumption and those ones look pretty normal, at some point these have to get to a point where we go, okay, they look normal. These don't look normal. If you wear that down the street, you're going to fucking get looks. You're going to get Apple Vision Pro looks. Let's be honest.
Apple Vision Pro is a hell of a lot worse than these.
There's always going to be differences too, right? Like, some people are going to want these because of how thick they are. Because guess what? Because of how thick they are, they've got better battery life. This one will last 5 days instead of 1 day. Right?
Yeah.
You can probably have different frames that have different things on them. Do I need my battery frames today?
No, let's reverse this. Let me rephrase this. We're tech people. So as a tech guy who's tested a handful of AR glasses, these are the closest I've seen to actual glass that look somewhat like glasses and have AR capabilities. You know, we talk about the Brilliant Labs. That's not AR. That's a little tiny little dot matrix monochrome screen that's in your eye. You can't.
Yeah.
I have prescription lenses, so this probably wouldn't work with mine either. But these have OLED, projectors, and it's, if you listen to the live stream, it was pretty intense what they've got so far. Now the computing device is separate, which obviously is not going to fit. What did they say? Early 2026? I can't remember. They said they're going to release.
That's a long time to wait.
That's okay. If it makes it thinner, I'm good. Here's the issue. Meta, and hear me out. I read an article about this. And you might, if you're an Apple fan, you might crucify me. But I believe that Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call them, is more innovative than Apple is right now. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, they're doing things. I mean, with the talks of an Apple Vision
in AR, VR world.
Yeah. I think, the Apple Vision Pro the second iteration was talked about a little bit this week as well. I didn't have that on the run, but I think you're going to see a very different type of product from Apple with the second iteration of the Vision Pro.
This is what Apple wants to do, though, don't they?
Yes.
They want to get to this, and Meta's leaps, at least from what we know, leaps and bounds ahead. This is much more advanced than I would say the Vision. Okay, the Vision Pro probably has better screens, better cameras.
Yeah.
But it's also bulky. $3,500. We don't know the price of this. This looks more natural than a Vision VR, a Vision Pro.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. Well, they were saying here that they've been able to keep it relatively lightweight because it comes with a required wireless puck that handles the processing and beams apps to the content of the device. So I think that's this thing here.
But Apple does the same thing with the battery.
Yeah. But it's wireless, and that I like. It's wireless, and that I like.
Put in your pocket. Right? Yeah. But what's the battery life going to be like? That's the big
question.
I
don't know, and that's the thing. I mean, if the glass is bad, if it doesn't have to process it on device, maybe the battery will be okay on the glasses.
But what I mean by innovation is Meta not only released. Well, they didn't release this. They talked about the Quest 3S. Which is $299 starting, and it's pretty much the 3 minus a few things.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is, Apple does well. Obviously, in the U.S., they sell a ton of devices, but Samsung does well too. Not on their necessarily their flagships, but their mid-range to low-range devices. So, if you could get a mixed reality headset for $300 and be able to access a lot of the stuff like we just talked with Paul, it's crazy what you can do, and that's what I mean innovation. Innovation isn't just about making something that's charging $5,000 for it. Innovation is offering a lot of value for a good price as well, at least in my opinion. So this is going to be outrageous. If they release this today, it'd be $10,000.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Easily.
it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, hopefully in the next year or so they can manage to find.
We know Devin would buy 10 of them, but
Yeah.
us common folk can't do that, you know.
No, I mean, Devin's going to actually buy us an early Christmas gift.
Yeah,
to send one
absolutely.
of those to
You and
us,
you
but-
and Zuck, you guys are close, right?
Yeah, you know, he really likes his barbecue sauce, and we've got the best here
Ooh,
in town.
Oh, there
so-
you go.
I don't
Well-
know about that.
Devin, just while we have you here, and speaking of barbecue, do you want to plug your live stream event
Yes,
while you're
please
here?
do, because you
Oh,
hold
my
on.
goodness.
Devin hit 1,000
Man.
subscribers on his main YouTube channel, and if you got to check it out. It's actually a really. I'm surprised it took you this long. Like my channel's terrible. I shouldn't say terrible. It's not as good, so it took me a little longer
It's
to get
just
there.
as good.
But yours is really good. Like you have good content, so
Yeah.
you need to plug your little.
Yeah, go.
Shit,
Give us a plug,
you're
Devin.
big.
Here's your chance, buddy.
Yes.
I've been working on it now. I've done a lot of restructuring over the last like 2 years type of time frame.
Yeah.
Changing things up, and I really went hard in like June, July, really focused in, and so I'm doing a lot of PC build, really focusing in on like game streamers, people that stream to Twitch or YouTube or Kick or anything like that. How to get the best computers, build the best computers, pick the right components that you actually need. And yeah, so we finally hit 1,000 subscribers this last week. And to celebrate, we're going to be doing a 1,000 stream is what I'm planning on doing.
Yeah.
So we're going to be
1,000 days.
and
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
Yes,
on.
1,000
Never
days of
coming off.
streaming.
hoping
24
to
hours
be
a day.
to 100,000 by the time we're done. But yeah, so we're gonna stream for 1,000 minutes. And I think what I'm gonna end up doing is probably just add an extra minute for every other subscriber that we get.
Pretty good.
Do that.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
Because I
unique.
figure,
I like
you know,
that.
if so, the plan right now is to start probably. I don't know if I'm gonna start at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. I'm still debating because
5.
it's going to be a Friday. So, you know, the kids still got to go to school. My wife still got to go to work. So there's going to be like between that, like 7 and 8 o'clock, I probably just wouldn't be on stream.
Devin, can I make a suggestion just before you continue? Can you please start it with you waking up and turning on the live stream and just fucking a day-to-day, like the
That
whole,
would be awesome.
right? Just
Yeah.
like,
It's
I'm
like you're-
awake.
I mean, that's
What was that
mostly
one
what
guy?
it's
A day in the
gonna
life.
be.
He does like a daily. He has like a Pixel 8, 9 Pro. He's like, this is my average day. And he gets up, he grabs his phone. Like,
Yeah,
that would be really. I mean, it'd be difficult being a live stream, but
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a go ahead, tell us more.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it's gonna be. It's gonna be an all day stream. We're gonna start by just smoking some pork butts or something and making some
Yep.
pulled pork.
That's not a
just sitting
euphemism
out
for the
on
record.
but only if you have.
No,
but
sorry.
Only, but only if you have, like, more mustardy barbecue sauce.
Okay.
I mean that's fine. I mean I've got a couple.
It's
I've
not-
got like 6 different barbecue sauces in the fridge right now, and I'm probably
No,
I
gonna
wonder
buy
what the drive
another
is from Ohio
another
to St.
4 or
Louis.
5.
Yeah,
Think about this pork. It sounds good.
it does sound good. I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
It's in
You know how
what
to do
day
it
is
here,
it? What
you know.
Friday are you picking? What October day?
It is October 11th, so in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I'm gonna call my boss, take the day off. I'm gonna
You think your Tesla
You're
would
more
make
than
it
welcome.
there,
Yeah.
Joe?
So I've
just for pork.
Just
I've invited like 12 other people, people that have been on my YouTube channel, on live streams, all that different stuff to come over, hang out, celebrate, make the whole day a big celebration. We're gonna be doing our best to raise. So it's gonna be the 1,000 stream, right? We're gonna stream for 1,000 minutes. We're gonna attempt to raise $1,000 for the Extra Life charity benefiting Children's Miracle Network, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on everything. I'm doing my best to get $1,000 worth of stuff to give away too.
Nice.
So we're working our way there. I should have started a lot sooner.
It's hard to
On
say
that-
though because when you get that, you don't know when you're gonna hit 1,000.
Exactly.
Like when I hit my 500, I had Wise Smart Home. I worked with them and I got a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but it took like I was like 3 months in advance, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
I
yep.
get it. Yeah, that's cool though.
So we're running into that, but there was literally so I sent out emails like 2 months ago to a bunch of different companies, to a bunch of different brands, and LinkedIn messages, Twitter, Instagram messages, the whole thing, and literally the day that I hit 1,000, so it was like a month ago that I'd sent out an email. The day that I hit 1,000, it was a couple of hours later. Somebody messaged me back, "Hey, congrats on hitting 1,000! Like we'd love to be a part of this." And it's like, what? How did you?
Yeah.
How did they
You just
know?
been watching my channel,
Yeah.
or did you literally just see my?
They have a
email
ticker in
month
the corner.
later?
Yeah.
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 It was really kind of creepy, but either way, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try our best, and the goal is really just to have fun, celebrate, and hopefully be able to give back to the community in a couple different ways. So.
I'm actually excited for it. I think
Honestly, it sounds
tune in,
amazing.
for
I'm going to
sure.
see if I can jump on there and just make some inappropriate comments and about
Perfect.
pork
Well,
butts
here's
and
the
stuff
problem,
like
Darren.
that.
You gotta be invited. I
That's
don't
true.
know.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Now,
Yeah,
Devin,
the thing-
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm trying to decide because in Kansas City here, the way that we do smoking is that you can't smoke without a beer.
Right.
And I
Of
don't know
course,
if I want
everywhere.
to. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if you guys played to the
Coffee.
same standards that we did, but yeah. So I'm debating if I want to do that for a stream or not. Usually,
Six a.m. is
when
awfully
you're,
early.
Nah, it's never too
I
early
mean,
for a beer.
it's not too early for a beer. I just don't know if I want to be drinking that long on stream.
Yeah, for 1,000 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
gonna have to take some time. Like, hey, I'll drink while I'm smoking, and then it's 16 hours. I mean,
Devin, can I make a suggestion?
oh,
I want you
sure.
to go and
Absolutely.
pick up the oldest, most rundown PC tower that you can find, and I want you to do like an Office Space type of scenario where you just beat the shit out of it with baseball
That was
bats.
a fax machine, wasn't it?
That's
Yeah, I'm gonna. I got the clip right
Actually
here,
a
right?
good
I'm just
idea.
gonna. This is what I think Devin should do. Just take an old PC. I want to see this happen midway through the stream, like an old PC that Devin hates.
Yeah, we're
Right,
going to
and
copyright now. Thanks, Darren.
I actually may have the perfect PC.
Right? And
Well,
look,
you
I
know
mean,
what? I've got some. Well, I'm not going to be there, obviously, but I've got so many old computer. Like, what do you do with a printer when you're not using it? I have I think it's a Dell or maybe it's a Samsung. I don't know. And I just don't use it anymore, and it's just an old fax copy
Donation.
machine. Man, I
Donation.
need to send it to him and beat the crap out of it with a baseball bat.
I actually have I might have a computer that is perfect for this. I have a
Love it.
2004 iMac
Oh, please.
that I was
Yes.
literally just the other day. I was like, what do I even do with this? I need to get it out of here.
I tell you what, if you do that during your live stream, I will donate $50.
We're okay. Well, because I wrote it down. It's probably happening at this point. I like.
Okay,
it.
because
You know
I would
what,
love
Darren?
to see that. I would, yeah.
I'm half tempted to drive to
That's it, just
to beat that thing with a
Stick
baseball
it back.
bat.
I will happily donate $50. You let me know. Let me know the time and the place. I'll tune
Think
in.
about it, Darren. Look,
Yes.
beer,
Yes.
pork, smoked
All
pork,
provided by me. All provided by me.
Yeah. And just
live streaming. I'm sure you're talking about technology.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we'll probably do something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So probably. And hitting
I-
things with baseball bats. I mean,
No. What's not to like?
Hang it up like a
Listen,
pinata
you
and just-
set it on fire. You dance
hang
around
up
the
like a
flames
piñata.
naked.
That's all.
I'm good. I'm good. Hang it
Yep,
up like
yep.
a pinata. Yeah. Fuck
Oh,
it.
blindfold the
Yes.
person.
Oh
Everyone
my
gets a chance.
god.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I'm just giving you suggestions. I will happily donate, and I think
Like it.
everybody should. So if you're not following Devin Does Tech, check him out on YouTube. October 11th.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And look, that actually brings us to the end of today's show. I know we've had a action-packed show. We had a run that was about 50 items long,
Yeah,
and we got
me and
to two.
Darren's runs are like super long this week, and we got to none of it.
None, but it was worth it, and that's okay. And we can always talk about it.
I'm just glad we talked about Devon's because I was going to bring it up, but we
Thank
got
you.
with
We
the
did.
guest, we got kind of into that a little bit. So
Big thanks to Paul for joining
Yes.
us on the Tech Disrupted podcast this week. And Devin, Jason, always a pleasure having you guys join us. And we will be back next week. We're on we didn't mention that we're on a little slightly different schedule moving forward. We're going to be trying to aim for Sunday afternoons. So if you
the
live
question
stream,
is the time on Sundays.
Yeah, so we don't, and we have our fans, our friends over at the NTP podcast. So I know we don't want to mess with those guys. So we might push to 5 o'clock on Sundays if that's all right with Jason and Devin. And,
the problem is most here in the U.S. NFL's pretty big, and most of the games are. I would say most of the games are 4 or 5. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, look, I don't mind.
I've got my others. I've got the Chiefs up on the.
I know. I saw you watching.
So there you go. We're multitasking. Listen. We're in the technological world, people. So if you can do it, tune in. We would love to see it. But listen, you can always listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Good Pods, all the great places you find podcasts. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. If we get to 1,000 followers, Jason's getting a tattoo in the back of his head that says 1,000.
No,
right? So it's
I'll give you
crazy.
this. If we get 1,000 subscribers on Tech Disruptors,
yes,
I will get a Tech Disruptors tattoo.
Right. Ooh, I'm tempted. That would be a great live stream right there.
I was going to get a tattoo for my 1,000 on my channel.
Yes.
But I just lining up a tattoo person and
I know.
I got a guy contacted, and it was like 3 months before I hit 1,000, and like 6 months later I hit 1,000. I got back to me, he's like, "Who are you?" It was just too much. It was too much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not.
Maybe we should tattoo ourselves. We just get each other, get our own gun, and just.
Now I do have a buddy who's a tattoo guy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right?
See.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to outdo 1,000 minutes of streaming, but at least we can try, right? So, on that note,
do that in a heartbeat. Oh, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, honestly, I'll take a day off work for that, off my regular job.
That's what we should do when Tech Disruptors hits 1,000 subs.
Yes,
we do 1,000.
That's not a bad idea. That would be a good idea, but there has to be a live tattoo. I think that was.
Well, we have people come in and join us as it goes on.
I mean, I'm gonna get mine on my butt, so it's gonna be a little awkward. We have to blur some things, but we'll have some editing happening there. All right. Anyway, on that note, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on X and all the other places you find great podcasts, and we will catch you.